Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Miss Lady CC with Leaders in Purpose. Who are the leaders out there? It is you, and me. We are leaders, and we're leaders in purpose. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have here the second show with Mr. Way of Life Wardlow. Oh, with Mr. Way. Oh, I didn't even start. With Mr. Way of Life Wardlow. We got extra minutes here, and we are so glad to have him back on the show. Um, thank you so much for being here. Our first show, Mr. Wardlow, he just told us a little bit about himself, and before we go, in this show, we're going to talk about his flow. We're going to get to see his giftings and his talents, and so you're going to enjoy this a lot. Before we start the show, let's go ahead on and check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. We want you to go ahead on and get your Operation of Burundi, your moral code, and go ahead and go down through each moral code. Maybe it's the 10 Commandments. Maybe it's the 42 Laws of Ma'at. Maybe it's something you made up yourself and you got from the universe. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not commit fornication, or maybe thou shalt not commit adultery, or maybe whatever your moral code is. Did you do that? If you didn't, give yourself a biggest hug in the whole wide world. But if you didn't follow your moral code, you know what you do? You go back into your mind and you picture yourself not following your moral code. Then see yourself following your moral code. See the positive effect it had on yourself. See the positive effect it had on others. Great. Now give yourself a hug, because next time that comes up, you are going to follow your moral code, because it's the last thing that you saw in your head. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to tap. As we were talking about EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, it helps you relax. It releases pressure. It releases anxiety, and it replaces it with calmness. And I feel very good afterward. I feel comfortable. I feel great, and it just gets out all that yucky stuff. So let's just tap real quick. Let's stop at the top of our head. Let's go inside of our eyes, underneath our nose, under our chin, to the top of our shoulders. Head to our side, up and down, our wrists up, our wrists down. And we're going to go ahead and do up and down our legs and our feet. Great. Now just shake it out. Don't that feel good? I know that's right. That feels so good. Now we're also going to do, I'm so glad I got Brother Way of Life here, because we like to give honor to the ancestors. And a lot of folks say, oh, you're worshiping the dead. That's ancestor worship. And da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, when you look at the United States, you see we worship the President's Day every year. You see pictures and statues of people who did all kind of things all around the USA, all around the world. Is that worshiping ancestors? Is that demonic? So when we ask you to honor our melanated Native American ancestors and honor our melanated African ancestors, and all of a sudden it's wrong, can you please talk a bit about honoring our ancestors on Brother Way of Life?
Yeah. I like how you be putting me on the spot. But it's okay, it's okay. How many people have gone to a funeral and gone to the burial? And then how many people have visited that burial after the funeral? If that's not ancestor worship, then neither is libations, neither is taking time to honor our ancestors, to honor those who came before us. To know where you're going, you have to know where you've come. And to know where you've been, you have to know those who were there, so you don't repeat their steps, but you can stand on their shoulders and you can see beyond where it was that they were able to arrive at, and you can arrive there. Therefore, their life was an offering. Their life had a greater purpose than just of themselves, but they gave to you. So now you would know, you would be born and inherit all the wisdom that they have lived, that has been here in the Akashic records into the collective consciousness, and now you don't have to strain so hard to figure out a direction because, well, you know what so many different directions look like.
Mm-hmm.
And all you must do is just look back, acknowledge, get the ingredients, and now make the ingredients work for this time. It's not about regurgitating. It's about finding, realizing, and reforming that realization into a resurrection or into a transmission into the next reality, a transformation, a transcendence of your own self. And so that is the practice of us going back in the past and making anew, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're moving cyclically and not linearly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our point of our beginning doesn't start with us.
Mm-hmm.
Our beginning actually starts with those who came before us, and so we're an extension of them, and they are an extension of us.
Yes.
And so we're not here in and of ourselves.
Exactly. I love it. That's a fantastic way to explain it.
Mm.
And you know what? I love the way you put things. You're very philosophical. You're very poetic. You do got that flow in everything that you say and everything that you do. When did you start flowing? When did you start? Yeah, when did you start flowing?
You know, I actually, one of my best friends, Nate Bethea, I gotta give him a shout out. He and my guy Devon, they were actually real great rappers, real good rappers, right? And they were great freestylers. And then they would do this thing. Was in high school. They was like, "What would you do for a Klondike bar?" And you had to freestyle a skit for what you would do for a Klondike bar, right? And so you're like, man, I run up in the place. Right, you were saying all this great stuff, right? But I was the worst, and also the worst beatboxer. I was the athlete, although Nate was an athlete too. But like I was an athlete, right? Mm-hmm. Apex athlete, and so. And then I had a guy brother by the name Unique. He was a great rapper, right? Mm-hmm. And then I got on a song with him, and I'm just saying things though it sound cool. I'm like, when I got this Hennessy in me, there ain't no Jiminy in me. Give me the semi and watch me empty it quickly and simply like Yosemite, tearing apart your extremities, tearing apart your apartment and all its amenities. Everything in the vicinity without remorse and sympathy, and all black like Neo and Trinity, killing all rats. That right? I'm talking like that. I'm not saying anything. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying cool, witty stuff, right? Mm-hmm. 'Cause I didn't identify as a rapper. Mm-hmm. Never had a desire to be a rapper or a poet or anything. I go through this experience in prison, right? I went through prison because I'm a black man in America, not understanding that I'm a black man in America. I'm understanding that I'm black and I'm this patch, this like wound of America that America don't even want to look at or acknowledge. And I don't even know that that's not what they want to look at or acknowledge, because whatever's going on inside of me, no one's giving me the real talk about it besides what seems politically correct, fair, fragile, and aversive, right? Avoiding what may be tough or where they may not be able to give me answers at. And so now when it comes to trauma and all these things that are going on, right, inside, our body will always try to fight for us to live. Right. And if our consciousness gets demoted to just the preservation of our physical selves, right, then we are always acting in fight or flight. Yeah. If we're always acting in fight or flight, that means any slight can be a stab to someone's armor, and they may be caused in reaction to defend their life to something to you that just seemed like a tap. Right. And so to be fiercely competitive, to be fiercely like aware of the exploitation of my body, right? If I do good with my body, people will love me. They'll give me more attention, and colleges and all these type of things will, come to me, right? Like I was trapped in that. But when I went to prison, like those things didn't matter. We're all great athletes, or we all expressed ourselves athletically, right? To keep from fighting and to be able to channel and regulate our emotions. And I naturally was good with communicating, though I didn't know it because I had a speech impediment. And so I'm practicing looking at people speak, and I'm mocking TV shows like, I'm doing this type of stuff, right? Learning how my mouth to not get into these conniptions, right? Because it still happens at times, right? Learning how to be more expressive, right, with my lips. And people are like, oh, man, you're smart. And I used to be offended by that. Like, what you mean? Like, you know what I mean? Black, angry, white, crazy, right? Like, what you mean, right? Like, to say that I had an intellect seemed like offensive. Like I wanted you to be able to affirm, right, my brutality.
Right.
Although my brutality was never me, and it's actually a version of me when I'm most scared.
Right, right.
I'm anti-confrontational.
When you're into that fleshly part of you that you talked about, instead of that conscious part of yourself.
Without no identity of who I am and feeling all these invisible attacks that no one is actually saying is going on. Like, I'm crazy up here, right? But I'm still being regulated through sports. But then now when I have to be in a sit-down place, I can't use my body the way I used to unless it's only violent.
Right.
And I started to have injuries from all the torque I was putting on my body through all this working out, right? And it was almost like there was an intelligence that was crippling me. So therefore, I can actually learn my real purpose and hear my own intellect, hear my own spiritual ability, hear my own creative ability, right? And it would be speech of all things, which is something that I never knew I was good at, right? I knew that I was very smart. I can easily learn like this, right? But I didn't take that on as an identity.
Right.
Instead, I manipulated with it,
right,
to protect myself. But so I started writing things, and people like, bro, that's cold. And I'm like, all right, it's just thoughts, right? I would do things like the clutch of deception, all these different things. And I started
clutch of deception.
Clutch of deception were just like philosophical type thoughts of things that I felt like were very illusionary, but they're a surface, and that we would actually believe in them. And then through our believing of them, like we'll be clutched to it, because once we realize it's not true, right? Like we're still attached to this, right? We feel like we didn't put a whole life in this, right? And we've been deceived. And it's hard to say, well, I just need to drop this and go on.
Right.
And we experienced that as a quick segue, like in politics and in our teaching systems, right? We'll allow politicians to continue to lie to us, right? We'll allow doctors and FDA people to tell us whatever the hell it is that they say that they have been studied enough to give to us, right? Now, in our own, and then when they're proven wrong, right, we still accept them because we're like, well, where else do we go?
Right. Because we haven't connected to ourselves. We're still hanging on to that external.
100%. And so now we'll give these people out here who do not love us, who aren't invested in us. Maybe there's a small population, right, as an individual, but systemically or systematically, both, right? But the people who are truly in our lives, who are going through the same struggles that we're going through, who are trying to figure it out just like us, we won't give them the same extension that we give these other people.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is so true. Oh my total. It's true. We as a melanated people, and I'm going to say that we as a melanated people, we're literally, and people don't like to say that, believe this, but we are literally going through the Willie Lynch, the psychology, the cultic psychology of Willie Lynch. And it's true. We'll forgive the non-melanated, we'll forgive the non-melanated, the colonizers, and those who support them in a minute faster than a squinted. But our own brothers and sisters, our own family members, even ourselves, will dog us out, treat us like feces on the ground.
Right. I 100%. I had started writing it, and I realized that after a while of writing, I'm teaching myself. Like I have friends like Quayle, his name is Dwight Tucker, and Andre Turner. You know, we call him Boogie. Like, who are saying, like, bro, like, you're one of the greatest writers we ever seen, like, for real, like, you're one of the greatest rappers, because I'm throwing away stuff that's like, if you don't throw it away, let us keep it. And I'm like, nah. And I realized that, well, I want this, but I didn't know why I want this, right? And so now we're going through, and it's a whole circuit of unfoldings, right? Because trying to identify with something that you're good at, but that you never had a plan for is a different thing, because everyone is more aware of it than you.
Exactly.
And so identification has to always start with you first, right? And then that's when it really unfolds. And so I would write things, and then I realized that it wasn't necessarily about being a rapper, but this is my Bible. This is how I'm healing. This is how I'm realizing what's going on in my reality. And I write more abstract, more metaphorically, more conceptually, right? I'm not necessarily a line-to-line storyteller.
So you had to attach yourself to it. You had to yourself, in order for you to appreciate it, you had to attach yourself to it.
Over time, the repetition of it created attachment to it.
Okay.
And then the affirmation from those who are in my circumstance created it to be like, oh, this is me, and gave it quality because they were the ones who've been doing this all their life. I just picked it up. I studied now poetry, but it became too much of a European study for me, right? It wasn't as rhythmic, and I naturally had an intent to, when I was writing, I wanted it to at least be musically inclined, whether I was writing prose like free verse or whatnot, not even writing songs, so that at least a person can follow by the rhyme scheme at the end, right?
So you said when it becomes your Bible, I know when I was a minister's wife, I mean, that's something I studied day and night, night and day, 24 hours a day. So I mean, that's all I thought about. That's all I talked about. And so that's how it became an obsession.
I don't want to say it became an obsession because there's certain things that I should be having like this, but I don't always dwell so long. And so it actually lingered. My revelation will come back later on. Like maybe I would be saying a song to another person, and when I said it to that person, something new came to me, right? That we both saw, or they heard. I'm like, ooh, like I wasn't conscious of that at that point in time. And so what happens is it allows me to go back in the time to see what my soul was telling me back then, that I've now lived at this moment in time, to show me that I was always guiding me. I just need to have the proper coordination, right? The proper conversation and realization to know that it's me who's taking me here.
Right.
And so I would like there's a song that like where do I turn to? And first I gotta give credit to my best friend Katie. She was the one who really like reached back in the mud and was like, hey, the first day best day to plant a tree is yesterday, right?
Fantastic.
And so we're building my website up and getting me all these opportunities with these nonprofits or whatnot. Lynn, Lauren, Eli, or whatever. I have real production behind me in prison, which is not normal.
And she's a non-melanated friend of yours who's 100%. Been there for you through thick and thin.
Since I was in elementary school.
So she's a sister. She's a sister. Yeah.
100%. And so I was like, I spazzed out. This is like the second verse. And I'm telling this one specifically, and if I have time, I'll share a poem. But I'm like, I spazzed out, I don't know what to say. Don't know what happened, I just came to from a violent display. I snapped, forgot where I was, thought I had control of myself. These animals don't know nothing else but to just be themselves. I envy them cause I can't act like they do, that shit don't help. I growl, I bark, I roar, but people act like they do not know what that means. That means that I fear who and what I don't know. I don't know you step back. It means I fear for you because sometimes I don't know how I should act. Where do I turn to? Who do I turn to when I turn into what I don't want to? God, why do I feel like this? How can I get help? How can I get home? How can I get whole? How can I get help? I try to get better. I'm checking my levels. That means I can't settle because I know the devil won't hesitate if I don't intervene, because anger consumes you as usual. You will be ripping through jeans. Filled over race turning green. You wake up and feel like a dream. Then realize you broke everything. It don't matter if you didn't mean what had happened, because you know what happened, right? The things that you battle manifested after. The same thing that made you a bastard. Same thing that made you abusive. The same thing that made you a user. The same thing that made you feel useless. The same thing that made you a felon. The same thing that made you confusing and checking the mirror and asking. That song, when the second or the third time I said it, right, I started crying to someone on there, and they're getting emotional, and I realized that I was actually telling the story when I first really had the break that sent me up on a journey that I'm on now, right? And that was an abuse that happened between my oldest son and his mom, right? And so we're going to get the record straight. I ended up becoming an abusive black man, a stereotype, right? Now, my abuse wasn't targeted at women. My abuse was actually targeted at myself, trying to create, at the world, really trying to create a protection for myself. And so whenever I felt tricked, lied to, manipulated or whatnot, or just shameful or embarrassed and stuff, and after a while, I'd black out, right? And then I'd react, and then I'd come to, like, I spaz out, I don't know what to say. Don't know what happened, I just came to from a violent display. I snapped, forgot where I was, thought I had control of myself. These animals, I'm talking about like our belly, right? Where our emotions is. These animals don't know nothing else but to just be themselves. When our consciousness takes us back down into that slavery of being an animal, right? The animal would just be what it instinctually is. You know what I mean? What you call, I envy them because I can't act like they do. That shit don't help. Right? I'm saying as a human, I envy the animals because I just can't be an animal because it's going to make my human life even worse, right? It don't help, right? What you call it. And so I'm having this conversation, and then now at the third verse, I'm going through like what you call it. I'm like I try to get better. I'm changing my levels. That means I can't settle, right? Because new levels, new devils. Because I know the devil won't hesitate if I don't intervene, right? Not as somebody on the outside. Because anger consumes you as usual. You will be ripping through genes, ripping through your own identity, your own people, your own family, your own ancestry, your own personality or whatever. But also ripping through your clothes, right? Ripping through genes. What you call it? Well, what did I say? I said breaking it down actually takes you out of as usual, you will be ripping through jeans filled up with rage turning green, right? And I'm talking about the Hulk, but also it's like you're in your heart chakra, like you're damaging that, right? And so turning green, what you call filled up with rage turning green, that's the rage, that's the impulse, that's the catharsis, that's the charge, that's the purge, right? And so again, in the trauma healing circle, we need to purge.
Yes.
We need to be free in our body or whatnot and
Yes.
just have reckless abandon so we can get all this tension, all this held breath out.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And so music began to do that for me. And so then I'm teaching myself how to rap and do poetry and write hooks, but then I'm also teaching myself spoken word. And so I'll share possibly parts of that with you. I'm going to do this one that I really like, and just because I'm a good son, so to appease my mom, I'm gonna do the spoken word that I did for her.
All right.
Now the background to this was I was at her court hearing, right? And she's a veteran. She's on Veterans Court. This is also how I met you. And she stands, right, and she tells the judge that she is America. She is the American flag. And I refused to actually stand for the judge when they said all rise, and I refused to do the Pledge of Allegiance, right? I'm like, my allegiance is to my mom. I don't identify with being an American. I identify with being in America, but I'm way of life, right? And so here's this piece that's explaining that.
Okay.
All rise for the honorable meanwhile in my mind. Man, I wish I would stand for a judge. Man, I can't stand a judge. Call me standoffish until you give me an officer that I can stand on. Now that's a Kaepernick moment that I'd stand for. Man, I'd rather stand on the judge so a judge can see that I can't stand those that judge, but I'll make an exception adjudicating this mitigating circumstances. I can't bear an arm. Here's a leg to stand on that you may be seated. Oh, shit. I'm saying oh, shit also, but oh, shit. Maybe this is a hazardous stance in this kind of workforce. All the things he may believe that he worked for at the crossroads of everything I know his kind of workforce. We work first and foremost. Look, what all this stolen worth forged America. The recipient of his forefathers' work forced upon millions of black bodies made into cattle, mules, and labeled the worst sorts. Now this judger sees me refusing his courts, courting me to rise in his presence like I would ride or die for his blessings. Matter of fact, now just wait on a second. Then I saw it. My American flag. Her striped pillars, columns of roses and violets cascading across as if to wave the remembrance of 13 loved through striped languages her nation arose with. Her stars, each a hertz of love bellowed from healing, forged in fire, rescued, resurrected, and restored in the waters of revelation. Her story, a symbol that could gather all hope and command it to action for love of country. And any kind of war against this kind of nation is condemnation of God's chosen favorites. So if you declare war, it will be biblical, is what I'm kind of saying. This shit right here is where true patriots share relations. Look at her. Statue of Liberty-esque, heart clutched in hand, outstretched fist of black and proud fury raining upon us, starstruck few within the onlooking many. Don't worry, I see you, mother. That's why I wanted to let the judge see that I couldn't stand for him. But when you rose from that concrete court, I arose as your son to shine upon your violet struggle and red redemption. Your every word was constitution, deconstructing every patriarchal paradigm I once saluted into a new oath of office. Pinky promised to defend against all political enemies, foreign and domestic. So you see, Mom, I know you honor your service, but I honor you. You honor America, but to me, you are America, just like you told the judge. So dutifully, I rose with unwavering pride. My flag, Queen Mother, salute. See, we both patriots, but you're the vets, and I'm on active duty. So this kind of soldier you birthed just won't stand for no bullshit put upon his honor. What I'm saying, Mama, because of you, I stand for something. Ashe. And so, real thank you, real briefly to say that. I was pretty much recognizing, and what a time, because this is Women's History Month, but it's still also Black History Month for me, because there is a run over that I'm embodying within my own life, and that's not for anybody else. But I was restoring to the Black people their first image of divinity, which was the Black woman, which was the mother, right? The Queen Mother. And I was restoring that for me because I had never actually properly put that in place with true proper identification of who I am, and therefore to be able to see who she is and understand the things that have happened in our time and space were important upon our journey for us to get to this place of healing. And so what I was saying is, like, I don't stand for these ideas. I stand for the idea of you, the one that brought me into this world, right? You and everything that you bore upon you, right, is the red stripes in that flag, right? And that's what I'm saluting. I'm not saluting any fidelity to this land. This land hasn't done good by us. It hasn't done good by our women. It hasn't done good by our children. It has not done good by its Black men. And so I can't support it. I can acknowledge it, but my acceptance comes from Black love and the love of my mother and the love of myself and wanting to return myself to my source so I can express that out to the world.
I say. I agree wholeheartedly. Yes. I say. This is Way of Life, Wardlow. And before we go, I know we're getting ready to go. Show them your hair. I love your hair. Y'all see his hair? Look at the ends of his hair.
I wasn't supposed to even have hair. A spirit told me don't cut it, and I was going through trying to get released from prison, and I'm having to fight for my freedom, and this ended up becoming my source of strength. And so, like, I got my hairline is kind of far back or whatnot, but like, you know, I don't have everything up here, but it was just like, don't cut it. And so I ended up having, what's that one in the Bible who grew his hair?
Samson.
Yeah, Samson. So these are my Samson locks. Super duper facts. These are Way of Life officials.
Okay. I love it. We want to thank you so much for being on the Miss Lady CC Leaders in Purpose show. Thank you. We want to give honor again to the goddesses for the Women's Month, and again, it's always Melanated History Month to me, honey. And our melanated brothers and sisters, remember, as African American, they have us down as processed food as a trademark, as processed food, and as far as us being Black, for us to get our land. We need to find out our Native American heritage because we need to find out our Native American heritage. So please do that so we can get what belongs to us. We have Queen Afua, Sacred Woman. Please get the book. We have The Theft of African Prophecy by the Catholic Church, the Sibyls. Listen to Goddess Vicky Dillard for that. And we have the Goddess Bible. Now, people are like, oh my goodness, that's kind of sexual. Well, honey, look at what they're doing now in the Epstein files, and it's nothing at all compared to the mess that they're doing right now. The Goddess Bible is an amazing Bible. And yes, we honored our femininity. We honored our sexuality. And there's nothing wrong with that. Thank you for being here. In and out of peace to all.